Welcome everyone. We're gonna be getting started in just a moment. We're gonna give people a little bit more time to get on. So make yourself comfortable and get ready for an exciting evening. Welcome everyone. We're so glad you're here. We're gonna be getting started in just a moment. Hey y'all. Y'all like that music?
Love it.
I don't see y'all dancing. I can dance real good in the chair. I'm the only one dancing. Come on. I see the Haynes family. I see it. Y'all want to do it? Come on. Okay, Natasha, you getting with me. Okay, Judy, I see you got a little bit. What you got, Erica? What you got? Nothing. I know it's Sunday, but y'all can still dance a little bit. I see you, Ariel, with your mask on. What you got for us? Uh, I don't know if the all the blank screen folks, I don't know if they're dancing with me or not. Listen, while we're waiting, we're getting ready to get started in a minute, but I want y'all to go grab, we're gonna have a little toast at the end, so go get you a little glass or something. We'll tell you about it at the end, but if you can go get you something in 30 seconds. Natasha said, bet, she's gone. Judy's gone.
Hey, Errol, can you see me?
Yes.
Hey, hey, hey. All right.
Yes.
We are gonna get ready to get started. Our DJ, can we celebrate the DJ? Dr. Gary Jones. If y'all need a DJ, send him a message in the chat, Dr. Gary Jones. He can hook y'all up with some free DJing. Well, I don't know about free. And just so y'all know too, we're live on Facebook on Dr. Bolden's page. So tell your friends, your family, your frenemies, and your enemies to meet us on Facebook. Do we want to get started? All right, all right. So we are going to get started. Y'all ready to get started? Y'all excited to be here? Woo! Can we get some virtual hand claps? You can click the reactions button down there. You can just clap, clap, clap. We are going to mute the audience for now, just so we can, we don't have any mishaps or anything. We are recording. So we'll keep everyone muted. You'll have an opportunity later to get in where you can fit in, as we say. All right, so welcome everyone. We are so excited to have you here for this amazing virtual book launch, the first ever virtual book launch for Dr. Earl Sebastian Bolden. Can we get a clap, 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 clap? Woo! You can put some reactions. If you click the reactions thing in the bottom, some party hats, something, a little bit of something, something. So we are so very excited to have this opportunity. I am your hostess with the mostest, or MC, Geronda Burley, a colleague of the esteemed Dr. Earl Bolden, and I'm so honored to have this opportunity to share this very special moment with our amazing guest artist of the evening from Universal Inspirations. So we're going to open it up. I think if you, for those of you who are just coming on, we asked you to get your bubbly. You see how mine is coordinated with my outfit? Y'all like that? If you can do that, that's what's up. If you got a bottle of juice like Erica, you know, no judgment today. I'm rocking the cranberry ocean spray, pineapple mango. But if you got something else, your communion wine, your church, whatever, your grape juice, just put it off to the side. We're gonna deal with that a little bit later. So just come on, get ready. And right now, this is the opportunity. If you are with us right now on the Facebook Live, we're streaming live on Dr. Bolden's page. If you are on Facebook, please click share, tell your friends about it. You can also ask people to register. There should be a link in the site, the link that you use to register. We would love for you to register. Ask people to register so they can come on in and join us. You can put whatever you want that is pleasant and pleasing to the Lord, because it is the Lord's day, in the chats, so that Dr. Bolden can see all of his amazing love and well wishes that we want to celebrate him. This virtual book launch is being recorded. Just want to let you all know that. So we are going to get started. Once again, This is the first virtual book launch in this amazing series by Universal Inspirations, Dr. Earl Bolden. And the title of the book that we are launching and celebrating today is The Passions of the Period. And if you look on your screen right now, you will find information that you can buy. Look, you got options. Don't we love options? You can do both. That's what you should do, both. Do both. Purchase your hard copies, and you can purchase them on Cash App. He's $ Earl Bolden on Cash App. You can also pay by Zelle on Zelle, and that email for him is earlbolden@gmail.com. Or you can just use the good old telephone and call him, and he will gladly take your check or your debit card or your credit card, Master, American Express, Visa, anything but a bad check. He will take that from you. Okay. And you can also purchase digital copies. So you can get a hard copy for $20, and that includes your shipping and handling and taxes. It's all included, $20. That's an amazing, amazing price for this amazing book. You can also get digital copies, and those are available for $15. See, you can do both, right? It's $35. If I take my whole crew to McDonald's, we're gonna spend more than that, right? Especially if you get an apple pie with it. So I hope that we will be a blessing to him, and we're going to keep this graphic up throughout the event so that you can know how to access it at any time. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. You want comments or anything, you can put it in the chat. Our amazing DJ and our other esteemed colleague, Dr. Gary Jones, is in the chat, and so he can answer your questions, so that we can help you to be a blessing. Because how many of y'all got the book yet? Okay, I only see one person. I don't have mine yet, but I'm getting it, and I'm going to get more than one copy. Okay, so I hope that's what y'all are going to do too. Okay, so that we can be a blessing. So, Dr. Bolden, go ahead and give us, before I start with some other stuff that I got planned, go ahead and tell us what you want to tell us before we go on to the start of our conversation. You want to give us some greetings?
Yes, it is my pleasure to welcome each of you here this evening. This is one of the few times when I'm doing something where I can see several of my family members present. I see at least one of my brothers, my oldest brother here, and his family, his lovely wife and granddaughter here, and his daughter as well, Natasha Haynes, right? And then I see my cousin in England, who I've never met personally, but I saw him sign on, appreciate him. And I see one of my cousins who was my former student. We only found out recently that she was my student at the University of South Carolina, but we found out last year that we are actually related. I see my neighbor and several others that I will stop in case I miss some people, my godchildren's parents, but I'm gonna leave that until the end. But I'm just excited to bring you into my space where I can share with you this evening. And as Dr. Burley said, she is the host this evening, and she does a great job. She will keep us all energized. And then Dr. Gary Jones is behind giving technical support. But this book launch for the book entitled Our Journey Through the Other Side of the Storm is the first in a series that I call The Passions of the Period. And The Passions of the Period covers activities that will be occurring every month. So you will see there's an infographic that will be coming up on the screen now that shows you what will be occurring every month. This month, you will see this book.
Wait, hold up. First of all, remember, I'm in charge. He like to boss all of us around. I'm in charge just for the day for a couple hours. So you mean you have a whole agenda of things going on? So this isn't this. So you're gonna be doing this stuff like the rest of the year, dropping gems for us?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, tell us what you got going on. Tell us all of it. We're gonna get the graphic up so y'all can see it, because He's about to be coming on our screens every month. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is years of work. But it just happened that since March, when we were somewhat on the lockdown, that it was a bountiful time for me, and I'm approaching nearly 250 pieces, including children's stories, essays, and poems. So it has been a productive time, as I have been, inside my home, so I can remain safe. I limit my movements. And then, because it has been a heavy emotional period, a whole lot of stuff that was on the inside came out. And then others who have been going through a variety of things, I draw energies from them. And, that also fuels the creativity. I may be watching TV or whatever, or different things that are going on in the society. All of you have heard about a variety of things that have been going on in the US, some not so good, but those things then fuel the energy. So my approach, my writings tend to be largely therapeutic or healing. So I start from a less desirable place because of the issue that I'm addressing, but because I am an inspirational writer, I always leave you with some hope that although things may seem dark and dismal at this particular point in time, there's always hope for a brighter day ahead. So this first one in the series that I've entitled The Passions of the Period is featuring this book, or Journey to the Other Side of the Storm. And it largely focuses on a variety of issues that we have to confront during, or we are confronting as we battle with COVID-19. The piece, my style is very eclectic, so you will see some pieces in there that will make you laugh, some pieces that will make you say, some pieces that would challenge you. But in the end, the hope is that you will keep encouraged, knowing that there is life on the other side. And so this book contains words that hopefully will be inspirational to you as you journey to the other side of the storm. Next month, and we'll have the infographic with all the dates and everything that will be made available to you. And next month, we will be featuring the book, They're Still Not Hearing Us. And as everyone, I know everyone in this chat would know, that we in the United States are being challenged by a lot of racial injustices at this point in time. And so that book is going to be largely focusing on a lot of the atrocities, all of the challenges as we as people of color, mainly Black folks and largely Black males, have to confront. And so that one will be of a different nature than this one, because for many of us, as we are battling COVID-19, which this book focuses on, we are also battling the whole issues as far as violence, largely towards Black males. And as a Black male living in the United States, I am not exempted from the challenges because I am from the Caribbean. I still have to face it. And so I've had to be mindful of a lot of things. And in my role at the university as chair of the Black Male Task Force and other cultural issues, I am constantly placed in the position where I have to share with others or encourage others or educate others. So I keep on focusing on getting informed and also sharing, and poetry and prose in general tends to be largely therapeutic. And so the one next month, as you will see, hopefully you can see it on February 28th, we will be featuring that book, They're Still Not Hearing Us, The Pursuit of Justice. Continuing with the series, The Passion of the Period, in March, we will be focusing on the children because, during this period, we are challenged to make sure that we pay appropriate attention to the children who are closer to many of us now, in that you don't have the little respite when they go off to school. They're right there in the home. And so
all day long,
right,
all day
day
long.
long. So you're challenged to find fresh material and materials that would keep them engaged. And so as a result of that, in March, I will be featuring a couple of things. One book that was dedicated to my great nephew. It's a coloring book called Tabansi Travels, a self-awareness coloring book. So it is not something that I'm saying that I'm hoping to get done. It is something that's already done. It's just that it will be launched in March. So this is one, it's a coloring book based on one of my earlier children's book, right? And this, as I said, is a tribute to Najee Haynes, right? And so that one will be launched in March. That will be official launch. And also then, there is over the last few months, I've been working on children's essays and stories. And so we are going to be focusing on a variety of children's stories during that month as well. They're essays and stories for teens and tweens, right? And you will like it. So the month of March, it'll be a little lighter than the month of February and January, but it will still be high energy, right? So you want a little break or little fresh things for your kids? Join us in March, right? And the book.
Wait, hold up. Before you go through the other 10 events that are coming up, I'm just trying to figure out, when have you had time to be teaching at Coppin State University in Baltimore, Maryland? Because you've just been publishing 50 books since,
Well, these are
the
years'
pandemic.
work. You see, contrary to popular belief, professors don't have a big salary. So many of these things have been in the works for years, and so it's now coming to fruition as far as these publications are concerned. So and so I'm glad you said that, because there's a program called Kickstarter that if you're interested in bringing a book to market soon, that it allows you to put it up there and have people to contribute. So thank you for the segue, because when I put it up on Kickstarter, you can contribute, especially those of you who want fresh materials for your kids or the loved ones. I'd be looking for you to contribute to it. So these are a collection of years' work. The ones that deals with the first 2 months, they're still not hearing us, and the journey of the storm. That's my therapy during this period of time. So sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I have to write. Sometimes for a meeting and they're late, I write. Anyone bothers me, I write. I'm happy about something, I write. Even when I'm preparing reading for my classes, I write. Some idea about community development. I'm reading about community development. Next thing you know, I'm writing a piece on community development that I have my students focus on. So it has just been flooding out at every time, and some are used for the classes. So I'm still able to get my work done. I know this is being recorded and some of my colleagues are online. So keep in mind, I'm still doing the work that I'm paid for. So thank you, Dr. Dr. Burley.
Because we might have the president or the dean or somebody on, and the students, Ariel's like, okay, I'm wondering the same thing too. But that's amazing though. Like I saw Dr. Rice post, give us the formula. So help us set it up, because we need some release too. But and I definitely need it, for my babies, because we love those other books. Definitely. Kamika said, a productive use of your time. That is amazing. So now you've been telling us about all of these great books. Can you finish your calendar journey?
No, I just let me do two more quickly.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
In April, most of you would know that I'm a grief recovery specialist. And so in April, I am going to be, one of the things that I developed is that I know people don't like to talk about grief and loss so easily. So I developed a card game, right? Which makes it easier for folks to talk about grief and loss. So in the month of April, I will be launching my card game, right? And there will be some demonstrations. It will be different. You will see some of the cards there, right? On the left of your screen, that's a picture of the book, the coloring book. And on your right, those are what some of the grief and loss cards look like. And then after that, that's in the month of April. In the month of May, oh, and I can't forget this, and also in April, there's a book that I dedicated to my mom that was finished, that should have been published 10 years ago. My goal is to finally get it. It's a devotional guide. So all of the things I'm introducing to you are not poetry books. They're coloring books, devotional guides, games over a variety of things. And in the month of May, I will be introducing you to another poetry book called The Fabric of Life, but then I'm going to be introducing you to something else. And that is some of my conscious apparel for fathers, for mothers, all of those things. T-shirts and all of those things.
Wait. So you got coloring books, you got workbooks, you got books, you got poems. Because for y'all who are outside of Coppin, he is known as our resident poet laureate. Is that how you say that big word? Okay, so we can't have a meeting in the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences unless Dr. Bolden, nobody else. I wrote poetry in high school, just so you know, but we can't start a meeting at Coppin without Dr. Bolden's poetry. So, and then on top of that, you got merch.
Yes, mugs, T-shirts, all of those things that were done since 10, 15 years ago, but with the advent of social media, I'm now bringing them, introducing them to a larger degree. But the month of,
y'all, check out the merch, get the merch. That means merchandise.
yep, and in the month of June though, that is going to be the fun time. And why I'm excited about the month of June, I'm going to be introducing the thing that has brought so much joy and energy to me during this time. I developed a character called Curtis the Cat. And so I will be introducing you to the adventures of Curtis the Cat. Curtis the Cat is a mischievous cat. And he has several encounters. He's always getting in trouble. He's always bothering folks, right? But he's always being chased and he's always in danger, but he always lands on his feet. So I'm excited about Curtis the Cat, and some of you might see your names come up in the Curtis the Cat series. But there are a number of things, and I can't wait till June comes to introduce you to Curtis the Cat, because Curtis the Cat will become a household name, I guarantee you.
Look, you know it's Sunday. It's the Sabbath for some of us, and some folks had their Sabbath yesterday, but that'll preach, Dr. Bolden. Y'all heard that? Curtis, he was always in trouble, always getting chased, but he landed on his feet. That's what we got to do after this pandemic, right? Well, during the pandemic, we got to make sure that we land on our feet. Okay, you got games, you got merch, you got books, you got poetry, you got coloring books, you got workbooks. Okay, can you give us a little bit? Can you share a little bit? You know, we're gonna buy the book. We're gonna buy the book. We're gonna buy the hard copy. We're gonna buy the digital book. We're gonna buy the games. We're gonna get some merch. We're gonna do all of that. But can you give us a little sneak peek? Can you give us a few selections from the book? We ready? Y'all ready? Get ready in the chat. You're gonna have some questions, so you can have a quiz at the end. It's like no quiz. I'm just playing. Go ahead. We want to hear. Can you bless us with a few selections?
Yes, I'm going to first tell you about what this book is all about. So whet your appetite. So I'm going to read a little bit of the introduction. But please allow me, if you may, to tell you a story. It's a story about faith, about fear, and hope. A story that is sometimes steeped in pain. A story of love at its best. There are so many sides to this story that I struggle to know where to start. But if you're patient, I will tell you a story of faith through the fire, a journey to the other side of the storm. How the story began is uncertain, but what has occurred is so clear. Where it began seems less certain and is debated by some. It seems like we went to bed uninhibited, free to roam wherever we wished. But in the morning, rumors were swirling as there were talks about a pending lockdown or stay-at-home orders. We turned to each other, all puzzled, uncertain of what all this meant. The thought was that it may be a welcome brief 3 weeks or so at home. We thought it would be easy to handle. It was not long before we noticed long lines at gas stations and stores as if we were expecting a storm, and what a storm it was. Carts overflowed with essentials as well as treats, and selfishness and greed were the garments some wore, as their focus was only on themselves. Then fear came behind folks and made things more intense. For some, the weeks of isolation made things almost impossible to deal with, and it soon became clear that this storm would linger longer than originally thought. As we became starved for human touch, we faced increased physical and mental challenges. This was the fate of the so-called lucky ones. While severe illness or death due to COVID-19 was the fate of others. Even as new cases lessened and the rate of infection lowered, there were spikes during period of heightened viral activity among loved ones in the general public. Livelihoods were stretched to levels previously unknown. Staged reopening brought much anticipations and resuscitated businesses that were dormant or facing dissolution. This storm taught us how to be resilient, and some believe that a better self would emerge on the other side of the storm. This is my recollection of the storm and the lessons of survival that were embraced. This is what this book is all about. And if you allow me I'm going to share with you a couple of pieces from the first section. There are 4 sections in this book. The first section is entitled The Firestorm. And quite often when bad things happen, the rich and powerful are able to get out of things easily. COVID-19 was the great leveler, none too high and mighty. You say you're powerful, or so you thought. You say that you are better than I am, and that I don't have a piece of the pie because I'm lazy. You tell me that you pulled yourself up by your own bootstrap and that you owe nothing to anyone and that you are successful because of you. Now the playing field has been leveled and we are both lying in similar beds, needing someone with no bootstraps around. What say you now? Don't we all need a helping hand to survive and to thrive? I'm just posing a question for you to reflect on. I hope you realize that to get up, you need to look up and get assistance from another. For I am you and you are me. Without each other, no one is free, none too high and mighty. Now,
Wow, that was heavy. That was none too high and mighty. COVID was the great equalizer. Y'all just drop it in the chat. I see everybody's writing congratulations, but y'all put it in the chat. I hope you're gonna give us some more. But what did that piece speak to you all? What was that saying to those of you out there in Zoom, on Zoom right now? The great equalizer piece that really spoke to me. You know, none of us is too high and too mighty from the top to the bottom. Indeed, that was a firestorm. So y'all can put it in the chat. They're gonna put some stuff in the chat. Can you give us a little bit more from that firestorm, or what else? Can we get a little bit more? We're gonna buy the book. We're gonna buy the book. But this is good. It's good stuff.
right, the one I want to share with you now, and you need to listen to this carefully because there will be a quiz about it. This one is called The Explosion. During the firestorm, there's an explosion. And so this one reminds us an explosion is coming, all because we could not, or maybe did not want to say no. The reasons for our choices may be complex as the outcomes themselves. They may be as complex as the outcomes themselves. But who am I to judge? Do I have the right to voice an opinion? Do I have some obligation to or for the outcome? Do I? I say maybe. Others are more definitive and say yes or no. The facts do not change. An explosion is coming. Not years from now, but months. Brace yourself, as some ecstasy will turn into regret or dismay when reality hits. Which side of the coin, which side will the coin land on? What kind of currency will it be? Will it be valuable? Will it be considered of little or no value to those in the coin toss? Or will it be treasured, deliberate and well thought out, deliberate but impulsive, unplanned or not desired? I don't know. Take a deep breath. Take a real deep breath, for the explosion is coming. Calculations will create panic among some as projections will be revised and finger pointing will ensue. Questions about what ignited this explosion will be discussed, analyzed, and reanalyzed. Stories will be told, books will be written, documentaries will be produced, awards will be given. It's coming and we can't stop it. Futility and instability, dreams deferred, rejection inferred. Can you hear the rumblings even now? The explosion is coming. Your fanning the flames, your attempts to put out fires will do little to change the outcome. Some see it as a solution, others see it as a problem. Some see it as a blessing, while others see it as a curse. Can you feel the heat, or do you see a treasure? Is the heat just a precursor of what will be produced? Time will tell, but one thing is for sure, there's an explosion coming.
Okay, wait, hold up. Let's give people a chance to put that in the chat. Okay, just put it in the chat. I'm gonna give y'all 10 seconds to put it in the chat.
What do you think the explosion is all about? I don't expect the FBI to show up at my door saying I'm planning anything. So I want to make sure, in fact, I better say, because this is on Facebook Live, I don't have evidence of any explosion. So if any building blows up, one has to be real careful. What do you think the explosion that is coming?
Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I see some. You see the chat, Dr. Bolden?
Mhm.
The reality. It's already started. Dr. O'Brien said it's already started. Did anybody get scared when he said that? I thought, oh my goodness. You had us all excited. It's about faith, breakthrough, the reality that was which was hidden is gonna come to light. Mm-hmm. Breakthrough. Oh, you see what Dr. Calhoun said? That was a more positive spin, breakthrough. Because when you start talking about explosions, that sounded pretty ominous, right? But breakthrough, that's a good truth. And you know, they said the truth will set us free. Walking in your purpose. Mm-hmm. New life is coming. Civil unrest. So yeah, that's good.
The beauty of poetry that it means so much to so many different people. It could mean different, completely different things because no one has yet said what was in my mind while I was writing this.
Okay, you're not gonna tell us?
Okay, let me just tell you.
We got about a book to get that.
No, I'll go ahead and tell you about what I was thinking, but it can mean all of those things to you. No, you remember with COVID-19, more people were spending time in the house, right? Couples were spending more time at home, right? People were going through a range of emotions, right? And so in the research is mixed. Some said that the population will decrease significantly as a result of COVID-19. But some research also says that in other parts of the world, especially in the lesser developed parts of the world, there will be a population explosion. That is one explosion. There's also expected that home is always not a safe place for folks. So because the pandemic has had people who would not normally be in such close quarters to be in close quarters, different anger came out. And so some people were forced to engage in sexual activity. So there will be more reports of rapes or more reports, there are more reports of domestic violence. So there's an explosion in that as well, right? So the explosion could mean any of those things, but you can also reframe it. And I know some people said it's a civil unrest, and it could seem quite appropriate based on what happened at the Capitol. So although this is what was in my mind as I was writing it, because you, Dr. Burley, you asked me what time do I have to write and preparing for classes. Well, it's while preparing for one of my classes, diversity class, that talks about population explosion. That is what led me to write this piece, An Explosion is Coming, which I shared with my students. So you see how more and more I'm integrating the writing with my classes, right? And the students, as they integrate it, it makes the digestion of the material much easier.
That's good. That's I'm just trying to digest it all. Because I thought too you were gonna say there was gonna be explosion because so many people are stuck in the house that we may have some population growth and some, you know.
Right, in some places, in the more developed countries, they're saying no. Some people are saying, I'm losing my job, I am not going there. But the research is saying in some lesser developed countries, like people where they don't have access to the contraceptives, right? They can't travel like, and I remember one research cited India. and that's one of our largest, most heavily populated countries. So they're expecting a population explosion there. And people who might more go to get abortions, they cannot go and get those things nowadays. So some people, there may be some unwanted pregnancies. So the explosion in unwanted pregnancies. So that's part of the explosion in some parts of the world. So you see in some parts, there will be that explosion, and in other parts, there will be a decline. And I know there's some sociologists and some other health folks online. So I made sure I had my stuff together, because I know some of those professionals will say, hey, let's talk about the literature. So I did my research. Dr. Brathwaite and Dr. Drury, I think both of you online. So I'm letting the sociologists know about some of those things, and the health specialists.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. And people putting some good stuff. Band-Aids have been torn off and there's much potential ahead. Yeah, that's good. Dr. Dean O'Brien said that the country is like a wound filled with inflammation and it has to be cleaned out before the wound is healed. That's some good stuff. Oh, you know what I meant to ask y'all? I want you to tell us some more. Can you give us a little bit? It would be great if you could give us a little teaser from each of the sections, because you said there were 4 sections.
Right. So
And we're gonna buy the book. You can see on the screen next to Dr. Bolden, tells you how you can get it, Cash App, Zelle, or call him. He'll take your credit or debit card. For $20, your hard copy, beautiful hardbound copy. And then we also wanna get a digital copy. For $15, you can have that link to have it anytime, any place, anytime, any place. Remember Janet Jackson? Okay, I can't sing. So we're gonna get both the digital link and the hard copy link, and then I want you to tell us some other places. But you mentioned earlier that you have people from different countries, so if y'all could just drop it in the chat. Where are y'all watching from? I say y'all because you know I'm from Alabama, but where is everyone watching from this afternoon? So if you could just put in the chat. In addition to all of your well wishes and your reflections from what Dr. Bolden is sharing, but let us know where you're watching from. If it's Baltimore, if it's London, if it's Barbados, wherever, put it in the chat where you're watching from. Now, Dr. Bolden, can you give us some more? Can you give us a little snippet from a couple of the other sections?
Yes, and by just one of the former students, Clarkson Fornishi, also talked about the violence and murders. There's an explosion in violence and murders, and he's from Cameroon, and he just pointed out that that's part of the explosion as well. So thank you, Clarkson, or G. Fornishi, in case you see it that way. Now, I know, and I know I've heard my neighbors talk about this, but I heard a lot of other people who have children talk about, their greater appreciation for teachers. Because although I'm a university professor, we also hear people talking about, oh, those people get all this time off during the summer. What do they do with all that time? And with the teachers, why the teachers got to be off all during the summer? Why don't they keep school all during the summer? What are they doing with all that time?
We're still working. We're still
Right.
working. We're still working. That's what we're doing.
But guess what? Corona taught them a lesson. So I'm going to read 2 pieces from this section called Fear and Trembling. This is the section called Fear and Trembling. Said, if you ever wondered about teachers, if you ever wondered about what life without teachers would be like, now you know. You often complained about teachers, devalued their efforts, questioned their wisdom, and balked at their time off during the summer months. Now, after a few weeks, you see them quite differently as your patience run low and you are at your wit's end. You now better see the value of all the work they do as you struggle to motivate your children to do what you know they should do. You also struggle to understand the content and recall what you once knew. But what for you may be most taxing is the time, energy, and skill that it takes to engage your child in studying. After an hour, you begin to tire, and at the end of the day, you are exhausted. So now that you know, let me challenge you, be kinder to teachers by supporting their efforts and pulling your weight. Teachers do more than convey knowledge from textbooks. They play a key role in raising the child in your care. Now, that is a lesson that we should learn as a result of Corona. But there's another piece that is entitled, What Has Rona Taught You? That I want you to think about, because at the end of it all, if we are not wiser or more knowledgeable or kinder, then we have to ask ourselves some serious questions. So this piece is entitled, What Has Rona Taught You? You may be furious with her and call her so many names. You may be longing for the time when she is no longer around. Her presence may have drained your savings and have you cutting many corners searching for a ray of hope. Her visit is so disruptive and her actions know no boundaries. She is so brutal and unkind, destroying lives and separating families, leaving a trail of stench no perfume can conceal. Amidst the pain and agony, what has Rona taught you? She caught us with our pants down, which made it easy to assault us. So many failed to wash their hands, a breeding ground for her time. Her weaker family members visit us each day, issuing their warnings. Yet we fail to listen, and we do as we desire. So Rona made her entrance and forced us to clean up our act. We sat up and took notice. But have we really changed our ways, or will she have to come again for us to learn our lessons? So let me ask you once again, what has Rona taught you? We hope she soon will leave us, never to return. But wishing will not make it so if we fail to listen. I'm tired of her filth and how she trashes every home that may feed her wicked ways. So cut it out or go with her so that we may breathe again. No man or woman is an island. We need each other to survive. So pause for just a moment and answer the question, what has Rona taught me?
Y'all put that in the chat. What has Rona taught you? Not what it taught other folks, but what has it taught you? I'm sitting here reflecting because that was good. That was real good. Because I'm thinking, one of the things Rona taught me was that life is, we know it's fleeting and it's fragile, but you could really be gone tomorrow. So we really have to really value every moment, to value relationships. And yeah, Tennille said, slow down and be grateful. Definitely be grateful for the little things, because that person or family may not be there tomorrow. So you don't have a second chance to say goodbye. So that's real good. Let me see what else people are saying. To make the most, to cherish the day. Ooh, that's good. To be more loving to myself and to others. Yeah, that's good, because we definitely need to be more loving to ourselves to keep ourselves well and healthy and strong so we can be there for others, to slow down. I think it's forced us all to slow down, to appreciate friends and family. That's good, Ariel, and not to give up no matter how difficult things become. Dr. Rice says to enjoy time with people you care about and to be intentionally still for a moment. That's good. Intentionally still, just for a moment. Release the time, the value of relationships. Yeah, so tomorrow's not promised. Erica Morgan said she is disrespectful, just disrespectful. Rona is just disrespectful. That's good. That's real good. Woo. Um, can we get a little bit more? I feel like we're being greedy. Can we just get a little bit more? You know, you
Yes.
got people joining us from all over. If y'all on Facebook, make sure you click the share button so other folks can watch. But I saw people from Canada, from Baltimore, Pikesville, Louisville, Kentucky, um, Silver Spring, Barbados. Man, I wish I could be in Barbados right now. Seattle, Canada, of Towson, Cheverly, Owens Mills, the Bahamas, yes, Georgia, okay, down near my home state. Shout out to Georgia. We love in Georgia right now, right? South Carolina, California, Brooklyn, Bermuda. Okay, you really are internationally known. Said I'm internationally known to rock the microphone because I get, okay. All right, let's carry on. Can we get a little bit more?
Yes,
A little bit more.
I'm going to take you to the section now that talks about vulnerable.
Ooh.
And in each of these sections, it is an introduction to it, but I'm not going to read the introduction to the sections. I'm just going to it. But I have two pieces, and it'd be interesting to see your comments on both of them. We all can deal with the isolation, and a lot of people struggle with this. And even when you keep, as I talked to some of my mentees, and I said, listen, wear the mask or stay home. You don't need to have to go to this. People are just feeling that, okay, I remember one person told me, can I stay in the house all of my life? I said, but the more you stay away and follow the directives, the quicker this will pass and you can have the freedom to do what you need. I remember my home country of Barbados over the holidays had faced a challenge because a lot of people went on what we call a bus crawl or bus excursion. And as a result of that, there was an explosion, this time an explosion of cases. And so we are now facing, for the longest ride, Barbados only had 7 deaths. Now, to my knowledge, it has 9, and so many other infections because people can deal with the isolation. And we as persons of color, no matter where we're from, we like to celebrate, we love a party. And so when people say, oh, isolate yourself and don't worry about the party, that is like poison to many folks. But this first piece I'm going to read to you is called Isolated. Sometimes I feel so isolated, shut off from the world, closed off in a cocoon for safety, ever so mindful of the invisible invader that has crippled so many homes and destroyed so many lives and livelihoods. In my isolation, I wonder, when would this seclusion end so I may enjoy the warmth of others as I welcome their embrace? I seat myself next to the window so I can feel Mother Nature's warmth. Although welcomed, it cannot replace the human touch that I long to feel. When will this isolation become history? When would others internalize the danger and protect themselves so the seclusion may end? When will common sense reign supreme? Since when does an individual's right trump the village's? This isolation is no joke. Free me from these confines by doing what is right. Stop the selfishness. Stop the ignorance where you cannot see past yourself, where you cannot see that your right is so wrong. Stop the madness where you find greater love in things and less value in loving people. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. This other one I gotta tell you is I have to tell somebody. And ladies, listen carefully. Brothers, I'm gonna expect you to speak up, put some things in the chat, and support me and be honest about this. It's called, and once I tell you ladies, you know it's one of those pieces that may be a little provocative. Says I have to tell somebody. Let me say up front, Dr. Burley, that I'm not throwing shade. I do not usually talk about my feelings, but I have to tell somebody. A few years ago, I started on a journey that began with the wedding of all weddings. I felt like Prince Charming who found his beauty, who was not asleep, but was hidden in plain sight. For it seemed like I was looking for her for decades, and she was right there in my circle of friends all along. One day, things changed. We fell in love and subsequently got married. I was finally going to have my happily ever after. Or so I thought. This radiant beauty that I professed my love for and devotion to was transforming into something that I did not recognize. It seemed like I was in a beehive with constant buzzing day and night, night and day. What was I supposed to do? She no longer took pride in how she looked, nor pride in how she spoke. Her words were like a razor blade, or more accurately, a sword. She said she already married me, so she had no one to impress. I thought, wow, who was I? Was I not worth her looking good for anymore? I used to take pride in celebrating her as my wife and introducing her to everyone. Now, I would not dare attempt that, as I never knew who would show up or how she would represent herself by what she said. My beauty had turned into a wrecking ball, wrecking the lives in our home and wrecking the spirits of those whom she encountered. Debbie Downer had nothing on her. All I could focus on is finding an escape from this dungeon. Prayers, counseling, pleading, all seemed to fall on deaf ears. For my sleeping beauty was now a wrecking ball. Her appearance and her sharp tongue were my constant torment. Isolated during this current pandemic has left me vulnerable to a plethora of emotions. Some I refuse to hear myself describe. I do not know how much more of this I can take. I waited so long to wed. Now I'm in torment. Questions I wonder. Fellas, how many of you can relate to this? Ladies, have you been guilty of this?
So you trying to start something. Your book sales might have just dropped.
No, let me tell you that there's a balanced one. There's one for the females as well.
Okay, well, come on, let's keep going.
Right?
Sisters, y'all put it in the chat. How y'all feeling about that piece? Okay, let's see how y'all feeling about that. Somebody said, where are you getting these ideas? Right, we want to know, Heather. Let's see what he gonna come back with. Okay, we want to hear the other side. We want to hear the other side of this coin.
Okay, so
let's try to get your sales back up. We want to get your sales back up.
Let me read this and then let you respond. It's called Beauty and the Beast. I walked down the aisle, thinly veiled, to what I thought was my ebony Adonis. He was tall, muscular, and with a voice that sounded like thunder coming from the bowels of the earth, or so it seemed. I was in love. When he lifted the veil, he swooned at what he called my enchanting, seductive epitome of angelic beauty. My knees almost buckled by the weight and beauty of his description of me. We had to remind ourselves that we were in church and that the minister was beside us, hearing every word we said and looking at us as if to say, patience, be virtuous now. There will be time for that later. We got it together, and I celebrated the fact that I had married my Prince Charming, or so I thought. Anniversaries came and went by, being dulled with the passage of time. He was still in the house, but I kept searching for him. Where did my Prince Charming go? Where is my knight in shining armor? The man whose adjectives were weighted in beauty now spoke words that were steeped in ugliness. His body was still tight, sort of, but so were his clothes. Now quarantined, I felt like a cage. I felt caged with a prince who has transitioned into a beast that is no longer in the shadows. Determined not to remain in this zoo, I purchased my ticket for my exit in order to guard against my beauty being transformed into the ugliness that was his. Feeling dejected, I longed for the opportunity for us to return to the altar so I could leave him there. There is no fairy tale here. There's no happily ever after. Beauty and this beast do not work. Physical distancing remind me who I once was and shone light on who I was becoming. Beauty and the beast are my current reality. Dr. Burley, has my sales gone back up now?
Yeah, you helped yourself out on that one. I saw Dr. Krista Gilliam said that works both ways, both ways. Um, maybe the sharp tongue is a result. Okay, thank you, Ms. Lasagna Gikes. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. There is truth in that. Maybe the sharp tongue is a result of failed expectation in him as well.
I'm waiting for the brothers. Come on, brothers. You can't leave me out here like that.
Anyway, let's see. Dr. Robinson said beauty comes in many forms. Physical beauty is the first to leave. Perception is not reality. I think we got a brother responding. In both of those poems, okay, hold up. He wrote a dissertation here. I hear two people who did not work on their relationships. The pandemic became a truth serum for some relationships. Many in relationships were forced to meet their mate for the first time. That's good, Mr. Gwen. Okay, Heather Harris said, Earl, tell us a story about how couples have navigated a realistic and joy-filled relationship, please.
That is in there too, but you got to buy the book. I can't tell you everything. I made sure that because it was balanced. So it is not all about this, but you had to face the reality. This period brought out the worst in people. And it also lifted the veil on things that people did not want to see.
That's good that you brought it back. That's good because remember you just talked about the explosion. And so this is essentially part of that explosion. You know, it blew things, our realities, our perception. Somebody said, you know, perception or something reveals. And so this during this whole period, and we're now approaching 1 year, it has exploded and lifted that veil. And like Lamonte said, some people are seeing folks for the very first time, which often happens when couples retire, and it's like, okay, retirement has come, whether you're married or in partnerships, a serious relationship. But then at the end, it's like, okay, we're here. So yeah, it has revealed a lot. So yeah, that is kind of another explosion. So
Right.
so you're gonna balance it all out real good for us in the book. So that's why we're gonna look at
The
that green.
balance piece, it is in the book, but if you buy it, you can see the balance. But trust me, I made sure there was the balance. But I wanted to, as you should have seen by now, there is an array of issues that people have been dealing with the pandemic that I highlighted in this book.
Mm.
There's sometimes you just sitting down quiet and some simple things, all you hear one day is running into the next day. You don't know Sunday from Monday, especially when we were in the lockdown. So there are a plethora of emotions. And so my style is very eclectic. And so I like to focus on the reality of things.
You gonna
Right?
talk about the single folks in there? Because someone posted up, somebody said, we don't have to worry about all that. It's just us. But I don't know. My single friends are having some explosions and some, because sometimes looking at yourself is the hardest thing of all, if we want to be real about it. So I cannot wait. I know y'all are excited and you can't wait to get the book. You can download the digital version today, and order the hard copy too, so you can start reading the digital version while you're waiting on the hard copy. Because we want the rest of it. Like, we need to hear the rest of the story. Give us one more part, Dr. Bolden, because you
Okay,
said it
yes,
was 4 parts.
I'm in the final section because, I hit you all with some heavy stuff. But the one thing that I wanted to remind you of, and I know the pandemic seems to be going on and on and on, and people are getting more depressed and frustrated and putting themselves in risky situations. But in spite of all of that, I wanted to remind you that life's not over yet. So the first one that in this section I want to read with you is entitled, Life's Not Over Yet. At the dawning of this day, did you not open your eyes and breathe? Did you not raise one leg and then another? Or maybe both at the same time? Then maybe, just maybe, you fell on your knees and said, Dear Lord, thank you, Jesus. Please, please have mercy on this sinner whose life was only saved by your grace. So, thank you, Lord. Dear Lord, have mercy on the many broken lives whose pain knows no victory, for they do not know the Master, the captain of the ship. So as they sail life's sea uncharted, they are unable to find their way. Dear Lord, I know life's not over yet. So as my soul was fed, I rose to find what is needed to sustain this temple, the temple you loaned to me. And in my kitchen were the blessings he alone provides. Filled with gratitude, I ate and prayed for those who had no meal. I prayed that a way would be provided so they would also have a meal. And as I showered in warm water, I praised the Lord that I had water. And as I showered, I sang praises to the God who does provide for every need that I may have. Fully clothed, another blessing. I left home aware that life's not over yet. And as I stepped out in the sunshine, I took a deep breath and exhaled. Another sign that I am blessed. Then I started on my journey feeling good, knowing that I am truly blessed. Blessed so I could be a blessing. ever mindful that the God of love will smile upon those who honor him through faith put into action. So, as I went about my day, I looked for those whom I could bless. And as my day came to an end, I thanked the Lord for his protection. And as I lay down for my rest, I smiled, knowing life's not over yet. But we still have some questions, and I come back to one with Rona. It's entitled, If. If Rona hadn't stopped by, what would you be doing? Would you be spending time at home, conversing with your loved ones? Or would you be in another place from dawn to setting sun? If Rona had not stopped by, would you have changed your lifestyle? Would you have practiced good hygienes and other safety measures? Or would you still be doing that which would not keep you safe? If Rona had not stopped by, would you have taken time to breathe? Would you have taken time to stop, taken time to touch, and taken time to smell the roses? Or would you still be rushing by and fail to see the flowers? If Rona hadn't stopped by, would you have offered thanks? Would you have seen those workers who fed you or protect you? Or would you still be passing them not knowing they exist or their value to you? If Rona hadn't stopped by, would you have reflected on what is not healthy, or would you be none the wiser and not have changed anything in your life? Rona has given us a moment to pause and assess our reliance on each other. So make the most of these moments and what such moments could mean, so that what will emerge would it be a much better version than the one that existed before Rona stopped by. So in spite of all of these challenging times, the good thing that we as a people know that we hang on, that we may get through this. And so the last piece I want to read to you is called Resilient. It said, I've faced tremendous risk and challenges, but like a brand new penny, I shine. I have faced the elements, the sunshine and the rain, hurricanes and tornadoes. And though I have been tarnished, I still shine. I have been tossed aside and undervalued, labeled as inconvenient weight. Yet in the darkest of all moments, I still shine. I have been buried in the mud, but the mud became my protector from those who could not see my worth. But a day of reckoning always comes when what was hidden is revealed, a day when absence makes the heart grow fonder, a day when hope and faith produce the victory, a day when I will shine. So do not give into hopes that were dashed or dreams interrupted by greed and fame. At the end of the day, remember the penny that still looks brand new because it did more than merely survive. At the end of it all, I will live fully, I will love well. As I rebound, I am more resourceful and strengthened through adversities. And like the penny, I shine.
Wow, that deserves snaps. Now that's gonna be some good merch. I shine. Mm, that's so good. One the first part that you read, one of the lines that stuck out the most to me was when you were talking about what can we do to be a blessing. We've all gone through so much during this time. Um, I mean, so many challenges that we've all experienced and so much loss. But I think it's important, like you said, that we still think about how can we be a blessing, like how can we, even if it's just an encouraging word or text message or a phone call or, picking up somebody's groceries or dropping them off some extra mask or something. So that was good. What can we do even in the midst of all of these issues and difficulty? Because I think that's how we can really shine, right? Like that's how we can shine. Because we have to think beyond our own. One of my friends always says that we have to care about more than my four and no more, meaning our immediate family, but the larger community, that beloved community, that Dr. King talks about. Let's see what people. That was so good. Whew, I can't wait to get my digital copy as soon as we get off of here. You can get yours right now. Go to that website. That's right there on the green slide. Okay, what are they saying in the chat? Um, Dr. Robinson said it's been a blessing in many ways, but it's also been sad and deadly for so many. Definitely. Excellent. You are shining, living fully and well. Um, okay, Amina says she's putting the pieces together. That's good, right? I think a lot of us are just trying to put the pieces together, but thank God we still shining. Lasagna said this is her favorite piece. So that's great. Profound gratitude. Yes, I'm with Diane Dawson. Profound gratitude. Oh my gosh. So much pain, but I'm telling you, if you are still here, if you are on this Zoom right now, then that's a lot to be thankful for, that we're still here. So thank you. That's beautiful.
And
So,
my niece Natasha has a question.
oh, where is it?
Her hands up.
Oh, the hand sign. Okay, go ahead. Natasha, you can unmute yourself. You want to ask a question? Oh, she just said that's probably like the amen hand. That's just like, yes, hallelujah. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. It's just so good. So now what we're going to do, I hope y'all had a chance earlier on. We went and got our glasses because we're going to have a toast at the end. This is Ocean Spray Mango Pineapple for those who ready to judge. Okay. So go get your glass. Y'all, some of y'all already drinking. This for the toast. Just put it down, save it, save a sip, save a sip. We're gonna get to the toast in just a minute. We on our schedule. Don't nobody get panicky. We make a good time. This is so good and so contemplative. Like this is just some really good stuff, Dr. Bolden. That book is gonna be real good, very inspirational. So we want to move now to testimonials because we have several people who already have the book. We're not going to be jealous because we're just going to get the book too. But we have some folks who are going to give some testimonials. So I want y'all to get ready. Miss Zena Belgrave, Dr. Noel Brathwaite, Miss Veronica Landon, Dr. Meandre Prince they are going to give us some testimonials. So I hope y'all get ready. As Bishop T.D. Jakes would say, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. And we're going to have some testimonials. Now, let me tell y'all what I have been given orders to do. I've been given orders so nobody will get mad at me. And well, we're not doing evaluations, but I have been given orders to mute you if you go over the time frame, because I understand that you all were given 2 to 3 minutes by Dr. Bolden. Some of my colleagues would say, yeah, that's Dr. Burley. She can't wait to be muting people. But no, Dr. Bolden has asked everyone to stick to a time limit. And so we will have our timer. My students know I have a timer set here. So I guess we're going to go in that order. Hopefully this has given everyone an opportunity. Ms. Zena Belgrave, Dr. Noel Brathwaite, Ms. Veronica Landon, and Dr. Meandre Prince. And then we're going to share a testimonial that was also sent in from Ms. Suzanne Trotman in a few moments after you all. So we will proceed in that order. Ms. Zena Belgrave, you have the opportunity, and we will spotlight you as soon as we locate you. All right, so the floor is yours. Messina Belgrave.
I'm not sure if you're calling me or someone else.
We're looking for,
Woolrich is the last name. Okay.
It's Woolridge.
oh, okay, not Zena Belgrave.
No, Woolrich.
Woolridge.
Okay, sorry. All
Okay,
right.
that's okay. That's fine. I just didn't want to jump in case you weren't calling me. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dr. Bolden. This was excellent. I'm so glad you invited me. Thank you. Thank you. It's been an honor to be here this evening and hearing you recite the poems. So I received quite a few of your poems via electronic media, so I haven't had the privilege of hearing you recite them and speak them, and it's so powerful to hear the words coming out of your mouth and the passion with which you express yourself. I can imagine it as I'm reading it, but it's another thing altogether to hear it. So I picked a couple of the poems that really, really spoke to me during the period when you were sending them. It was three of them actually. The first was None Too High and Mighty, which you actually read this evening. And when I look back on what I had stated to you when you sent it, my first expression was wow. And I talked about the fact that we are definitely interdependent. And so some of us who thought that we may have been independent and self-made were actually completely dependent on others. And one of the things that this whole period has caused us to realize is that the ones that society may have deemed important really are the ones that we found that we could do without. And those whom we may have looked down on are the ones that we found were essential. So the healthcare workers, the teachers, the sanitation workers, they were the shining stars and the heroes of the during the shelter in place period. And they were the grocery store workers. Those are the ones that we could not live without, people who we may not have deemed as essential or important or even valuable prior to this period. And so that's how that particular poem spoke to me. Another one I thought about was The Strangers in My Home. And that one I actually sent to a friend of mine who has been going through a difficult period. And I just wanted to see what her perspective on that poem was. And her response was that it was a powerful message, but a message of truth for a lot of households during this quarantine period. And she said it was a lot of self-reflection about who we are to ourselves and to others. Are we who we say we are? Who is that person in the mirror? Do we even know or recognize him or her? And the last one I wanted to speak about was Centered, because I found that that poem captured the essence of the entire collection. And so when I look at my perspective with respect to that whole period, I find that what I discovered was captured in that poem, where there's a global realignment taking place. And we were reconnecting with people who truly matter and in meaningful ways. We had to find new ways to reconnect with those who are important to us. And we were also taking stock of what's important in our lives. And we found that it wasn't superficial connections on social media, nor was it the amassing of material goods. We redefined our spiritual foundation to rediscover who God is and to stand on the truth of his word. And so during this time, we're being forced to think deeply and critically. And I believe that we will come out of this better for having experienced this period. So thank you for allowing me to share. I don't want to get booped out or the um, buzzer. Thank you for allowing me to share, and thank you for allowing me to be on the call tonight. It's been a blessing.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Dr. Woolridge. All right. Now we will have Dr. Noel Brathwaite. Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon, my friend, Dr. Bolden. You took me on a journey, and a journey that spoke not only of fear and a disruption, because the book disrupted our experience and of normalcy. It told me that you use a combination of theology, terms like fear and trembling. You were influenced by your culture, back up, off me, high and mighty, these cultural terms that we are familiar with in the Caribbean. Do you also use a bit of imagery, talking about the caged bird and personification of Rona? I think you were able to put all of that background that you have in your training to give us a work that not only tells a story of disruption, but it tells a story of faith and a story of hope. That is what I found enlightening in this work. It's a situation which is occurring right now. The coronavirus is right now. And the disruption that we're feeling is a present disruption. And when we look at Rona, you're telling us that Rona is going to come back, not in a form of destruction, but in a form of faith, in a form of hope. And the thing that really stuck with me was on page 42. And you read that. And on page 42, it says, "What has Rona taught you? We hope she soon will leave us, never to return, but wishing will not make it so. If we still fail to listen, I'm tired of her filth and how she touches every home." And then it says, "So pause just for a moment and answer the question, what has Rona taught me?" This book, I think, touches emotions. It also touches our mind. It tells us that there's hope. And so when we go through these experiences, through this book, it not only grabs us, like I say, grab and go, and not only from palace to pig pen, not only from stillness in the midnight, and you use the phrase, the noise of silence. I think it was very poignant to use a phrase like the noise of silence. And I really enjoyed not only the structure of the book and the message of the book, but the timeliness of the work. Congratulations to you. And I wish that we would have some more of it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rothway. That was very powerful. And you're right, the noise of silence, that good stuff, good stuff. All right, next we have Miss Veronica Landon. If you are here, can you please raise your hand, Miss Veronica Landon? We're trying to locate you. I don't know if you see her, Dr. Bolden.
Yes, I saw her.
You can raise your hand, Veronica, if you're here. Just click the hand raise sign.
I got some messages of some people were having problems getting in, but I don't see her here now. I'll see if I.
What we'll do, we'll go on to Dr. Meandre Prince, and then we can come back if Miss Landon joins us. Is that all right?
Yes.
All right. Dr. Prince, you are up next.
All right, so good evening, everyone. Certainly it has been, to say that it's been a pleasure this evening is an understatement, but I will say that I have thoroughly enjoyed this gathering. Just a few words that came to my mind. I met Dr. Bolden probably about 20 years ago as a grad student, one of his grad students, and shortly after that, we became good friends. And I remember being over at his place one evening, and I came across some writings, and they were his poems. And I was deeply impressed with the poems then, as a former high school English teacher who loves poetry. And I started reading them, and I couldn't stop. And the more I read them, the more I wanted to read more. I've always been impressed with the talent of Dr. Bolden and his ability to capture the bents and tone of society through his poetry and now through his short stories, which will definitely relate to our young people. One of the things I've also come to appreciate is the imagery And the words that he used, the choice of words that he used, it leaves a lasting impression um, in the minds of the reader, and just things that they can always remember. One of my favorite poems by him is one that I've come to start reading every morning. It may not be in this book, but it's one called Breathe. And it reminds me that in spite of how busy things become, especially early in the mornings, when it's so important for us to take time to reflect, as he alluded to earlier this evening, um, just to kind of calm ourselves down, get ready for the day that lies ahead of us, and to simply breathe. And so I find myself reading that poem now every morning when I get up. And it certainly has become a grounding factor for me. So I want to extend to him a sincere and heartfelt congratulations on yet another powerful completion of this project. I know that this is not the last. Knowing Dr. Bolden the way that I've come to know him, this won't be the last. And we'll probably hear more and more from him. So congratulations. Thank you.
All right, that was a wonderful tribute. Wow, everybody's sticking to the time. You had seconds. You had like 33 seconds left, Dr. Prince.
Yes.
Yeah, reclaiming my time. Reclaim. Nobody had to reclaim their time. All right. I don't see Miss Landon, so I want to, Dr. Bolden. There.
She had to, she was in the meeting, but she would be signing back on soon, but I haven't seen her yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I would want to share the one from Miss Suzanne Trotman, and let me pull it up here, and I'll just share that her with you all because she wasn't able to be on. So if you will indulge me for a moment, Ms. Trotman is a clinician at the Winds of Change Therapeutic Services. And she sends her acknowledgments to you, Dr. Bolden, and she is happy to celebrate this moment with you, and extends her congratulations on the launch of this book, Our Journey to the Other Side of the Storm. And she goes, one of the gifts of COVID-19 has given you, one of the gifts that COVID-19 has given you was a period of gestation where many creative pieces were birthed. May this book resonate with, bring hope and inspiration to others, and may God bless the sales as it is launched. Poetry to me is like creative art hung in a gallery. It allows those who engage interpretation make meaning to their life in unconscious ways that inevitably brings awareness and hopefully change and movement. So she shares a bit about Strangers in My Home from page 7. And I apologize for the blender in the background. Strangers in My Home, that's on page 7. This has been an overarching theme across families during the pandemic. Individuals either discovered there were deficits, unknowns, or differences that were buried with the busyness of life, or those deficits, unknowns, and differences became very glaring. Couples who were already living with major deficits started to struggle and continue as life and COVID-19 confined them to sharing spaces with no respite. And then she also shares about the use of the poems. And so she, as many of you may be able to use these poems. And I thought it was really interesting because she talked about how she's been using forms in her therapeutic group formats. And so she used them in an annual workshop with women about women navigating dysfunctional relationships. She also used it with an inner child trauma group. And then she used those pieces with reflective segments for contemplation, followed by journaling, arts, and activity, a journaling, art activity, and discussion. And she talks about from page 67. This is what she says. One second. All right, so from page 67, she used this in her group, and these are some of the things that some of her clients said. It captured the moment when I knew I was over in my resolve to stay in my relationship. I feel like the author knew my story. That's powerful. These are clients who are sharing this as they read Dr. Bolden's book. Someone else said, it covers the pain and the struggle I carried. Someone else says, the last half of the poem gave me hope. Another, it resonated with me on a number of levels. Someone else, after reflecting, I've accepted that I need to leave this toxic environment. I can pick up the pieces. That's powerful. Someone else says, I have to let go of the power my mom still has over me. Another, I have to accept my parents did not have the capacity. I have to let go of the resentment so I can be free. Another section she pulled from Who Opens Your Door on page 77. And it goes, this piece was very potent for me. After a morning meditation, it resonated at a visceral level. I was able to reflect and gain some clarity on a business decision. So these were some very powerful comments from Ms. Suzanne Trotman, who is a registered psychotherapist in Ontario, Canada, at the Winds of Change Therapeutic Services. So we thank Ms. Trotman for sharing those powerful comments from some of the clients who she had to read the book. So it's a great use, a way to use these poems outside of just reading it and enjoying it for ourselves, and how she used it with her clients at a conference as well as with a trauma group. And so Dr. Bolden, you should be very proud. And what a great honor to know that your work is not only blessing and inspiring those of us who purchase and who will purchase the book for ourselves, but you're even being a blessing and making impact and change for those who are in various settings. It's being a tool, a therapeutic tool. So it's ministering to us on so many levels. So I think that is very powerful.
Canada. She Suzanne Trotman, she actually is in Canada. She lives and works in Canada, and Dr. Woolridge, she's in Bermuda, right? And so as I said, one of the things I've enjoyed during this time is being able, through social media, to be able to share with folks worldwide. And when I hear testimonials such as what was just given, it further fuels me and tells me that this is inspired work. It's not just something that's coming just from my head, that someone greater than I am placed these things in me to be of help to others. So this is part of what I see as my ministry or calling during these difficult times.
Thank you so much. What we want to do now, before we have our closing toast, if there's anyone else out there who has read the book and you want to share, if you could just click the hand raise button and unmute yourself, and we'll acknowledge you and give you about 90 seconds if you want to share. If you have your copy of the book and you've been able to read it, some portions of it, and if you'd like to share, or if you want to share anything that you've been able to experience from the time that he's been reading bits and pieces of it. So if anyone wants to take about 90 seconds, you can of course put it in the chat, but if you want to share, we're going to open up the mic for a few people to give 90-second reflections before we get to our toast. Anyone? Raise your hand and we'll acknowledge you, or you can just unmute yourself. Okay, is everyone shy? Are y'all eating collard greens and cornbread? Okay, I see. Great. Mr. Fernishi, I don't want to butcher your name. I'm sorry. Thank you so much.
Hello.
How do you pronounce Fernishi?
Fonishi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you very much. Dr. V, you know I had to say something. I really appreciate uh, what you have done and the masterpiece information that you've, put together and touched a lot of us. I'm one of Dr. Bolden's students, and I've been personally touched by him in so many ways that I can explain. And I think that is right um, for folks to know what he means to some of us, which he has really impacted in a very strong way. And you know, I remember always reading your poetry, and we stayed in communication. But one thing that really pushes or fostered my relationship with Dr. B was his persistence, his inability to not give up on those he believes in, and that is directly translated in his work. And we could tell that he's a very introspective person who has spent a lot of time not just studying self, understanding human flaws, but also figuring ways that we can he could bring it to the table for everyone to feast on and maybe have a piece of that knowledge and wisdom which can eventually enrich them somewhere down the line. And I do think that this is going to go far and beyond. And I still haven't given up on the cartoon piece we're talking about, Curtis the cat, and there's plenty more that's gonna come down the line. I believe so. And may God continue to bless you in everything you do, and don't stop. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's powerful. We have the Haynes family, I believe, who want to share. Thank you. Thank you so much.
To everyone. I am Mr. Bolden, biggest brother, oldest brother. What I would say, the book was inspiring, and I find from listening that the people who read it would be inspired by it. I also say that it is a book that everyone should read. And I also will say something, but this is not concerned the book. The book was issued in, in my birth month. I am seven. I am two sevens together equal 14. And my birthday was the 14th of January also. So I say it was very inspiring to see it was on my birthday. 7 plus 7, 14, and my birthday, the 14th. And I thank to see him again. And I know that whoever read this book would be very inspired by. And I hope that everything will go well with him and his future endeavor. And I also hope that everything will be successful with his book, the produce of his book. And God bless you. And I would purchase 2 books, and then I will show the other people, and I will get more books.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
love you.
Thank you. Love you all too. Love you all too. Thank you so very much.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then, did y'all hear what they said? They're going to purchase 2 books, and then they're going to tell other people so they can also purchase books. Thank you, because that's what we should all do. We're going to purchase our digital book today so we can start reading, and then we're going to purchase our hard copy books so that we can get our, will you autograph the books? Are you going to autograph them? Okay, so we get our autograph copy, and we're going to buy a copy for someone else, because we already hear how it's just been blessing us just from the pieces that we've shared, and we've heard the testimonials from the beautiful people here, as well as not just from Miss Trotman up in Ontario, Canada, but the people, the other folks, and those were just a few. So this book is reaching the masses. So we can't wait to get our copies to support your labor of love, you know, all that you've poured out. You know, God bless you with that gift, and we can't wait to receive it. All right, so now
And
y'all.
the hard copies, you will get a personalized gift with each of the hard copies as well. So there's a gift that accompanies the purchase of the hard copies.
So for us who purchase the soft copies, what's happening? It's not soft gift.
Yes, there will be another type of blessing that's still in the works.
Okay.
Wow. So we're gonna make sure we get the link here is for the this new book, but then can you tell us we get go y'all get your glasses ready, we get ready to toast, but can you tell us also or remind us how we can get your game? Oh no, that's coming out, right? The game is coming out, and because I can't wait for the game and
There's
also
another book.
the coloring books.
Yeah, the coloring book
Okay.
is out, but the official launch of the coloring book and the other children's book, the other book for teens and tweens. It is a collection of over 20 essays and short stories. It's currently being reviewed by teens and tweens. I have them reading and giving me feedback now. But that one for teens and tweens hopefully would be ready by, at least the digital copy would be ready by March, and hopefully the hard copy. But the other book, the therapeutic coloring book, that's completed. I just have to get the copies printed, but that's completed. So every month, as I said, I went right up to June. So I have products already in place. It's not something that I know have to create. Right.
That's a good point. Let me put a pin in that. That's a very good point, because some folks will tell you they got these things coming, and it's just in their imagination. But you can see here on the screen under merchandise, like these are products that have already, and I can't wait to get the coloring book because I have that other book for my kids, and then I bought books for my friends' kids too for this. So I can't wait to get those things. So, and you can see also pinned, spotlighted here, the information, the schedule of things that are about to drop. So look forward to some upcoming virtual events in March, 2 days after my baby girl's birthday. We got something in April and May and June. So he gonna take us all the way to the summer, and then he's probably gonna have something back in the fall, I'm sure. So we want to make sure that we stay tuned. And can we follow you on, what are your social media handles? Can we follow you?
Yes, I made it simple both on Instagram and by my name. You put in my name, Errol Sebastian Bolden,
Okay.
both on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
You would notice, so those of you who know my first name is Errol would know when you say E. Sebastian, and Sebastian is actually my name. But my creative works, I usually use E. Sebastian.
Okay.
So there's some other creative things to come. Stay tuned.
All right. So we'll follow you. Dr. Jones, if you could put that in the chat for us. We're going to on Instagram and Twitter. His handle is at E. Sebastian or at Earl Sebastian.
Errol Sebastian Bolden.
Earl Sebastian Bolden. All right. So we'll make sure to follow you. So now get ready, get ready. It's time for the toast. So Dr. Bolden, take it away.
Yes, the glass that I'm using for the toast says we celebrate our future by honoring our past. And my parents, both of my parents have transitioned, but I wanted to make sure that I took this time to celebrate them because they provided me with a good, stable life and paid for my undergraduate education and made sure my story is not one from rags to riches. I'm not rich yet, right? And it wasn't from rags. They provided a good life for all of us. And so I'm very appreciative of them because I could not be here doing all that I do without their love and support. So I want to celebrate my my parents, but there have been several folks who have been adopted parents since coming to the United States. So I also want to celebrate them. Anyone who has contributed to my life in any meaningful way, I celebrate you. Friends, family, several of you who are friends, we're like blood relatives. I see from Canada, my friend William Bradshaw, who worked with me in my first job as a shoe salesman. And then in undergrad, my other brother who used to harass me in love, Clive Allen, who's in London. But all of you, and Dr. Burley said that, yes, I'm truly an international man. Yeah, I love to travel, as you know. And so I am very appreciative that I had representation from all over today. And I want you to join me in toasting those loved ones or parents or other significant others who have paved the way and whose spirits are with us on this journey. Cheers. And I also understand, I know George talked about, my brother George talked about his birthday. And then there's another cousin whose birthday is today that was supposed to be online. So I would tell him that he's in Trinidad, but he is not. I don't see him online. If you're here, you can identify yourself. But those of you who are celebrating Gift of Life today or any other special anniversary, I also want to salute you for having another birthday. And for just living and loving well, right? And being good to others, all of you for whom those statements are quite accurate, I salute you. Dr. Burley?
Ooh, I'm glad I put enough in my cup. That was beautiful. I'm sure I speak for all of us who are on now, and we know that several people had to have some other obligations, but I know that I speak for all of us. We have been tremendously blessed and inspired and challenged in a great way. You have truly left an indelible mark on us with what you have shared, and we are so excited and we're ready to order so that we can support you, but so that we can continue to be inspired by your writings, your creative writings. And we're excited about all of the other things, all of the other creative pieces and all of the other inspiration that God is going to give you to share with the masses. You know, your company, you write under Universal Inspirations, and truly you are inspiring the universe. And so we thank you for that. We want to thank all of you who took time out of your Sunday to be with us. We know that you could have been doing a lot of other things like binge watching some on Netflix, well, we don't really have a lot of drama nowadays on the political stand front, thankfully, but there's so many other things that you could have been doing today. And so we truly appreciate the fact, and we don't take it lightly, that you chose to spend these 2 hours with us. And so we want to respect your time and honor your time. It's 5:59. And so we want to give Dr. Jones is going to just give us a final closing, and then Dr. Bolden will say his any other acknowledgments that he might have. Dr. Jones.
Thank you for joining us for this evening for our virtual book launch in the series, The Passions of the Period. Please leave your email in the chat if you wish to be mailed the infographic with future events. Until next month, when we will see each other again for the session entitled, They're Still Not Hearing Us, The Pursuit of Justice. Be safe and be well. Thank you again for coming.
Right. Don't leave yet, though. Thank you. Doesn't he sound real professional? That's my colleague. I said,
yes, Dr. Jones.
The tone, everything I said, Dr. Jones, all professional. I do first want to say, offer my appreciation to my Lord and Savior for what he has and continues to do in my life. To those who gave me early feedback, most notably Ms. Susan Trotman, Dr. Zena Woolridge, Dr. Meandre Prince, and my brother from another brother in Ghana, Mr. Samuel Odoy. Those of you who have provided editorial support, such as Ms. Lucille Belgrave and Veronica Landon. Last but not least, I would like to thank those of you who were amongst those who first purchased the book when you learned that it was published. My childhood friend who sent a message saying that she was having problems getting on because of the bandwidth, Marina or Suzette Williams Leon. My friend from undergrad, Lilina Borden. I want to thank them, Dr. Buckley, Melissa Buckley. She was also amongst the very first to purchase them. Thank you for your support. And Dr. Brathwaite, thank you so very much for your support, Dr. Noel Brathwaite. I also want to acknowledge, I'm not too sure if she's on, my adopted big sister, Dr. Mary Wanzer, who gives me lashes when I need to, but is always a wonderful support to me. This was my first virtual book launch, and I enjoyed it, and I hope you did also. It went off smoothly, but this would not have happened without the support and creativity of the production managers, my colleagues, Dr. Gary Jones and Dr. Joronda Burley. I owe you. I could not have done this without you. I want to thank members of my family who are present, my nephew and a nephew and a niece. I see at least one, and I see some of my great nieces, a great niece and great nephews, and obviously my brother, and also some of my cousins. So I want to appreciate all the family members, and I want to tell you that thank you so very much. You're coming from all over the world, from 4 countries. I want to tell you thank you and that I love you. To other loved ones, friends, colleagues, thank you so very much for your support. I see my department chair, Dr. Christy Gilliam, and others, Dr. Braid Stennis and Dr. Thorne. I see you. Thank you so very much for your support. So all of you, friends, family, loved ones, and those who just heard about it and joined us this evening, let me encourage you to be safe, live and love well, and may God bless you. And I hope to see you and others next month, the 28th of next month, when we focus on They're Still Not Hearing Us, the pursuit of justice. May God richly bless you, and please remain safe. My family and loved ones, we are still going to be on. So if my family members, because some of you haven't seen each other,